It was organised as a peaceful day of celebration. On the 9th of August this year, watched over by a large contingent of police, thousands of indigenous Melanesian people gathered in Wamena, the most heavily populated area of Papua Province's remote highlands. It was United Nations World Indigenous Peoples Day. It may have been a peaceful event, but it wasn't long before gunfire rang out. According to witnesses, police fired above the heads of the crowd. A photographer captured this image. But somehow, Opinus Tabuni, a well-regarded member of the Lapago Tribal Council, was fatally wounded. A long and tense standoff followed. This was a crowd armed with spears and other traditional weapons, which vastly outnumbered the local police, who had a water cannon vehicle on standby.
I didn't even, think that they will shoot all of the people. One person is enough to create conflicts. So they knew the attitude of West Papuan. It's Melanesian's culture. Like if you spank somebody, he will going back and spank you back. That's why I think shooting once to triggering conflict, it's easily.
As evidence of their belief that someone in authority was trying to spark a major riot, Indigenous rights activists are circulating this photograph of a man who may be holding a gun in front of the police line. They say it was taken moments before the shooting. It's been supplied to NewsHour by a third party, so we can't confirm its veracity or that this man was responsible for the death. Paula Makabori is a human rights worker and a political refugee from Indonesia.
I think he's part of the Indonesian security forces. He's an intelligent. It's an Indonesian guy with long straight hair, and then he's holding a black pistol on his hands, the short one. And it seems like he's looking around.
How do we know that he's Indonesian?
His presence is totally different among those indigenous West Papuan.
If a plainclothes person was held responsible for the shooting incident, there's a very good chance that they're not actually military, but intelligence, belonging to the intelligence community. So you will see somebody acting in that way, perhaps representing military interests.
Dr. Damien Kingsbury is an acknowledged expert on the politics of ethnicity in Indonesia.
Well, really, the Indonesian military, the TNI, has enormous investments in West Papua. And I don't mean investments in terms of investments in property, but investments in the sense that they get a lot of money out of the place through illegal logging, illegal mining, through rent seeking, through extortion, and a range of offline activities. And they're very reluctant to allow people who have independence in mind to get a foothold in the province.
The spokesman for the Indonesian embassy in Canberra, Dino Kusnadi, says the rally was being held without a legal permit and that a high-level investigation is being conducted into the shooting.
The Indonesian government deeply regrets the violence that occurred during that public rally. We are very much aware of that incident. It's been considered both by the provincial government and also by the central government as high importance. We're very open to any claims that can give light on these investigations. I mean, if these claims can be substantiated and then can be passed on to the police by these people, I mean, they've already questioned 46 people. If they want to add to these claims into a more official reports to the police, we welcome that.
The shooting only happened after some of those present decided to raise a banned Morning Star flag, seen here on the left of the screen.
Some people take opportunity at the time to raise the Indonesian flag, the West Papuan Morning Star flag, and the United Nations flags, including one white flag which is with the words SOS, so Save Our Souls.
But they knew that the Indonesian government wouldn't like them to raise the Morning Star flag, didn't they?
Yeah, that's why I say that. They took this opportunity.
The issue about the flag-raising ceremonies is they're hugely symbolic events. On one hand, they are seen to be a symbol of the aspirations of the West Papuan people for essentially for freedom. On the other hand, they're seen as a symbol of separation, of dissent, of rebellion, and indeed of independence.
Raising the Morning Star is against the law in Indonesia. that it is not considered as a cultural symbol, but it is considered even by these people as a sign of separatism. In this case, that is against the law in Indonesia.
If someone did try to stir up a bloodbath that day, they failed. After the killing, successive speakers called for calm. We would like to solve this problem peacefully, this speaker says. It's a failure that we haven't been able to achieve it, so we have to be patient. We should have no confrontation here, this one says, no conflict. We need to solve this peacefully and through a proper procedure. If we don't, we will all disappear. Then the mourning began. All the Indonesians are killing us, a man cries. We have nothing. All is taken away by Indonesia. We want help from the outside to help us. The massive rally, some say numbering 20,000, was then allowed by police to march through Wamena to the home of the dead man. Such is the level of suspicion in Papua that community leaders demanded to be present at Mr. Tabuni's post-mortem, and they were allowed to attend. They filmed the removal of this bullet from one of his organs. Opinus Tabuni may now be buried, but this issue is not. As well as the now Jakarta-based investigation into his death, activists say they fear a roundup of the rally organisers may be about to take place. Nobody has yet been arrested for the raising of the flag, and that's very unusual in the Papua and Maluku provinces.
So this case is like police are not put their attentions on the people's soul, on the one who got shot. They're not putting their attentions when people die. They're putting on their attention on just a simple flags being raised. So it's not human.